Hello, in this video I am going to be asking the question, can faithful Catholics celebrate Halloween? So as we get closer to Halloween, there's a lot of ideas and misconceptions around Halloween that I wanted to clarify and research and make sure that we're understanding what the Catholic tradition is with regards to Halloween. So first of all, what is Halloween and where does it come from? The Halloween comes from the word hallow and ween. Hallow means it's Old English for holy, just like in the Our Father we say hallowed be thy name, means holy is not your name. And then ween just means the day before of the holy day. So it's a celebration of November 1st, which is All Saints Day that Catholics celebrate. And October 31st is All Hallows Eve, which means the All Saints Day, but the day before. So anybody who tells you that it's a secular or Jewish tradition or whatnot is not knowing the Catholic tradition, because it is actually the day before All Saints Day. And so it doesn't have its roots in paganism, Satan, or Druidistic or occult or anything like that. So the where did it come from? The celebration of Halloween came from a mixture of all the immigrants that came to America, and just like where the trick or treat came from. So trick or treat actually came from several traditions. So the dressing up comes from the French who like to dress up, and the jack-o'-lanterns came from the Irish who originally carved turnips, and the English begged, they went door to door and begged for soul cakes, so that if people give them soul cakes or treats, they promised to pray for the dearly departed loved ones who gave them treats. So as you can see, the origins of trick-or-treating and dressing up is the melting pot of, it's American melting pot of several immigrant nations, but all of them having rooted in All Saints Day on November 1st. And Halloween is just the celebration of the day before All Saints Day. In school or even in Catholic schools, the kids during this time will do coloring pages of haunted houses and ghosts. Is that appropriate for Catholics? Actually, ghosts and haunted houses are very Catholic ideas. It's only the Protestants who don't believe in ghosts. Um, the Catholic understanding is that a human person is body and soul. They're united in one as a human person. But at death, that unity gets split. So the body without a soul, we call that a corpse. And a soul without a body, we call that a ghost or a spirit. So actually, ghosts are very real. And so they do exist. In fact, all our grandparents and great grandparents who passed away already are technically spirits or ghosts. They don't have bodies yet until the resurrection, until Jesus Christ comes back. And so what about haunted houses? Well, sometimes God allows these ghosts or the spirits to haunt the houses to where they are basically they're doing their penance in purgatory here on earth. And so haunted houses can be several or two categories. One is haunted by demons, which then you should find a priest and exorcise it. Or they could be by ghosts or by spirits that are doing their penance, in which the best thing you can do is offer mass up for them. I mean, like, we've had instances where saints talk to the ghosts, and like, as always, they're doing their penance, and they can't speed up their time in purgatory faster, so they ask for penances, and the best offering is the mass for that. So ghosts and haunted houses are very much part of Catholic tradition. It also brings a great teaching moment to teach your kids about what are ghosts, what are spirits, what are bodies, and so on and so forth. And it's not just about the visible order, but the invisible order that's part of God's plan as well. And so the next question is, what about the celebration of witches and Satans? In general, it is not good to glorify Satan's, witches, and Satan. So because they are the part of the evil plans or the evil order of that have followed Satan. Witches, what are witches? Witches are basically people who follow Satan by casting spells or curses. Those are very real. So witches is the female version, and warlocks or wizards are the male version, which, you know, in TV we see them as horror, but they are very real. They do exist, and they do follow Satan, whether they realize it or not, by calling on magics and spells and curses they are actually following the satanic order. They're basically calling up demons to do their bidding for them, and that does happen. So again, this is another great opportunity to teach your kids about how Satan interacts with the world, not only through temptations, which we know about, but also through infestation and possession. And so that's why the church, and Satan can also call other people to do their bidding for them. And that's why the church forbids seances, Ouija boards, and things like that, because it opens up to connection with the demons and Satan himself. So the next question is, can the kids dress up? So the church doesn't forbid dressing up, and as we can see that it's a Catholic tradition that came from the French, that dressing up. In general, we just avoid glorifying violence, and so I would not recommend dressing up things that are violence, or dressing up as Satan himself, or witches, so we should not glorify evil. But dressing up, one of the best examples is to have your kids dressed up as saints, which is a very laudable tradition, but it's not required. It doesn't have to. You can dress up as a firefighter or nurses or whatever, but it's up to the parents' discretion. But in general, the church doesn't forbid dressing up on Halloween. Another tradition that you'll hear is the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos celebration. So this celebration is often associated with Mexican Catholics on November 1st and November 2nd, where they go to the cemetery and they light up candles, as you see in this picture, and they pray for the dead. That's a beautiful tradition that helps us remember our dearly beloved departed ones. In fact, the church gives indulgences for us to go to visit the cemetery and pray for the souls of the departed during the first week of November. And the Vietnamese tradition also, we have the same thing. We go out cemetery and we have a mass celebrated to pray for our dearly beloved who pass away, and that's a beautiful tradition that I'm Vietnamese, so we celebrate that. So back to the question, the original question, which is, can Catholics celebrate Halloween? And so as long as we've already caveat not to celebrate and glorify violence, which is in Satan, it's actually a Catholic holiday. Just like there are people who celebrate Christmas wrongly or Christmas Eve wrongly, it doesn't mean that it's not a Catholic holiday and that we should not celebrate it. And if you hear people say that jack-o'-lanterns or celebrating Halloween is from the devil, that's more of a Protestant idea who don't believe in praying for the dead or praying for the soul of the dead. So you have two angles that you want to avoid, which is the secular version, which is glorifies violence, witches, and Satans and things like that. You want to avoid that. But also on the other side, Catholics should not be influenced by the Protestant tradition, which avoids Halloween altogether, because that Halloween at its root is Catholic. To pray for the dead is Catholic. To pray for the souls of the departed, that is the root of Halloween. And so we should celebrate it. We should understand it. We should take it as an opportunity to teach our kids how we should celebrate it properly and where its roots come from, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there about Halloween. And so that's why I wanted to make this video. I hope it helps you understand where it came from and all the nuances associated with that.